Blame Truth here. What would you guys do if XDefiant came back from the grave to give us content and Call of Duty was the one that died? Well, you might not have too long to think about that question because it's kind of happening. I am not even being clickbaity here. It's legit kind of happening. What am I talking about? Well, before I get into the XDefiant news, because this is some pretty big stuff, I want to cover Call of Duty and what it's not doing. So what it's not doing is doing well. Warzone is in the shitter. Warzone, I think, is doing the worst it has done since Warzone 2 came out. And it's doing so bad that Warzone's biggest supporters are talking shit about it. And I'm not kidding. We have Modern Warzone just saying, I feel like Warzone is genuinely dying. And Charlie Intel and him have a little discourse, and they say, the problem is that nothing will really change. Microsoft is going around touting how Black Ops 6 is the most successful Call of Duty ever, every chance they get. Yeah, they love to suck their own fucking dick. Modern Warzone says, to be honest, what do they do to fix it at this point? Even if they add Verdansk and fix all the issues people have listed out, I'm not sure the game will ever grab attention like it once did. Playing it just feels like going through the motions at times. They talked about, and by they I mean Activision, talked about the anti-cheat and how it wasn't up to par and how they're gonna improve it for season 2 and season 3. And one of the biggest Warzone supporters and players, Swag, called them out on it. He says, season 2, 45 days? I promise you the game will be dead by then. If that's the case, I don't even want to play. And it's not even just Warzone 3, if you want to call it that. It's not even just Warzone, it's Black Ops 6. I have been covering the player base dropping like fucking flies on Steam charts. I get it, it's just Steam charts. This is the only data we have, but I'm not going to report on numbers that we don't have. I'm not going to report on numbers that don't exist. This is concerning. This drops by 1.5%. And guys, Call of Duty does really well on Steam. I don't know where this fucking rumor comes from that it's not doing well on Steam. Like, it's usually in the top 10, at least when it comes out. You know, the new game comes out, I mean. So the game does just fine on Steam. I personally play it on Steam. Am I an anomaly? I don't think so. It's just, I like having everything on one client, pretty much. So, anyway, Call of Duty's not really doing well at all. I mean, we might see this game legitimately take a step way the fuck back next year especially. Marvel Rivals just came out, and that's getting a lot of hype and a lot of attention, and that is doing way better than Black Ops 6, Warzone, and every other Call of Duty under the sun, Zombies as well, all on the COD HQ client on Steam. Like, Marvel Rivals is absolutely killing it. I think it's like nearly 300,000 concurrent players as of me making this commentary. So there's that. And with GTA 6 coming out next year, I mean, guys, what are they going to do? Are they going to do another fucking DLC for Black Ops 6 like they did Modern Warfare 3 to Modern Warfare 2? Is that their game plan? It just doesn't look good. Fortnite just broke their concurrent player count record, and they proudly display their numbers. Why doesn't Activision? Because they're a bunch of fucking pussies. I guarantee you, if they ever beat Fortnite, they won't. If they ever beat Fortnite in player count, they will display their player numbers loud and proud. These fuckers have the smallest dicks and the smallest egos in the goddamn gaming industry. Stamp it, motherfuckers, because it's true. Oh, it's true. It's damn true. They have meetings about me. I have their jimmies rustled. Why? I don't know, man. And I'm just a fucking dude that walks his dog and, lives in the woods, man. I'm nobody. What are you having meetings about me? Why am I such a hot topic? Because I'm calling you out and people are listening? Maybe. Anyway, let's take a step back, though, from Call of Duty. And let's talk about XDefiant, because Christmas has kind of come early here, and I can't believe I'm actually making this video and telling you guys this. This is pretty surreal for me, and I'm going to get into what I'm talking about after a brief word from this video sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by Factor. Guys, I've been very busy uploading videos for you guys. I do not have time to cook 3 meals a day. It's impossible. Literally, it's impossible. This is where Factor comes into play. Factor delivers fresh, never frozen meals directly to your door. You pop them in the microwave for 2 to 3 minutes and you are good to go. The best part about Factor is I don't have to deal with the restaurants waiting or delivery services fees or tipping like 40% because someone brought me out a napkin or whatever. I'll get my own napkin, save my money, and put it towards Factor. Factor has everything you could want, from ketogenic options, vegetarian options, low-calorie options. They even have juices and smoothies, and they are absolutely delicious. So guys, if you are busy this holiday season like I am, Factor's got you hooked up. So guys, get yourself some Factor. Head to factor75.com or click the link below and use code 50CODFATHER to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first Factor box. Again, that is code 50CODFATHER at factor75.com to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. All right, guys, welcome back to the video. Factor is delicious. Been eating them for years. This is not even sponsored. Just really good food. Get yourself some if you are hungry like me. Yeah. Anyway, you're probably hungry for the news, right? The XDefiant news. So a dev messaged me a couple of weeks ago. An XDefiant dev messaged me a couple weeks ago. And I've been talking with the devs quite a bit since the shutdown, actually. And I want to kind of go over what exactly happened and give them some proper, I guess, context now that we have more answers and more information. Because it kind of came out of nowhere. But basically, Ubisoft, it's not looking good for Ubisoft is the main issue here. But anyway, good news. So a dev messaged me and said this on December 6th, and I've been sitting on it for a while. Check this out. Really hope you can keep this a secret for a few weeks, but our next update will launch roughly, subject to change, with 7 new weapons, tons of new skins, 13 new maps. Good God! Just that alone is insane. 2 new full modes, plus a lot of limited time modes, 3 new factions, and 1 huge surprise Easter egg. Plus all the other huge content updates that were planned in Season 3, like Prestige, etc. Minus some because of the store being removed, etc. This is legit, by the way. This is not clickbait. This is not just, you know, somebody making this up. This is one of the lead XDefiant devs messaging me. I'm going to keep them anonymous just because I want to respect DM privacy. But as far as I know, this is coming tomorrow or maybe the day after from the time of this video being uploaded. Guys, this is absolutely fucking huge, by the way. If you are not aware of what's going on, if you're not following XDefiant, you're just a COD player or whatever, basically XDefiant was about to release its big Season 3 update. This was the season that I was really looking forward to. Like, this was the one they were going to go all out for. Literally weeks before it comes out, Ubisoft just out of nowhere fires the devs and sunsets the game. And that's it. But they still have all this content they made because they were way ahead of schedule. So all the content that they were planning to release in future seasons and stuff, they're just going to release it in one go. But what's really strange about this is the game is still done. In fact, I don't even think you can download it. Like, if you want to check out the game and play it and you haven't had it downloaded before, you cannot download it again from what I understand. If you uninstalled, I think you can still download it because it should be in your like download history or whatever and you can play it. So if you don't have it installed and you want to check this stuff out, I would recommend installing it before Ubisoft does something and you can't do it anymore. I'm not sure what they're going to do. This is insane though. Like, the decision to end XDefiant was a pretty knee-jerk decision from Ubisoft, by the way. This was not planned at all. In fact, they had actually planned with the Season 3 release of the game to release it on Steam. This was found in the game code. There was also a leak, rumor, what have you, and I'm not sure if this is actually true. I have not confirmed it with any XDefiant dev, but from what I heard, they were planning on a Rayman Rabbids zombie-style mode, I think in Season 4 or 5, something like that, and that's just unconfirmed or whatever, but like, there were really big plans for X Defiant, and season 3 is going to be, what am I saying was, it's going to be Assassin's Creed themed, and that's like Ubisoft's biggest IP, I do believe. It's just such a shame what they've done, and I kind of want to go over the details of this, because for the longest time there was a bunch of rumors from Tom Henderson, which I think those were hit pieces, honestly, and from what I've heard behind the scenes, this was not planned. Like, X Defiant was actually gaining players. The devs, even Mark Rubin, the lead guy, got hit with this news pretty much out of nowhere. And I kind of want to cover just the details of all this, because, again, the Tom Henderson stuff, man, I think that was bullshit, and I think some clarification is needed. So let's consult this thread on Twitter, because it's very, very interesting. So Vitek compiled all of this, so all credit to him. So first of all, the real reason X Defiant was shut down is because Ubisoft is intentionally undervaluing its IPs for a potential shareholder buyout at a reduced cost. And X Defiant was one of the IPs they wanted to get rid of. The claim is also backed up by the fact that there is a public 8-page document by one of Ubisoft's long-term investors, which points out that Ubisoft is in fact doing all of this for a potential shareholder buyout. The same document calls for the resignation of Ubisoft's CEO and asks Ubisoft to go private. Mark Rubin was informed of the shutdown only 1 week before the official shutdown announcement, and some developers were not notified until the day before the official announcement. X Defiant's shutdown was never a player count issue. In fact, during X Defiant's whole post-launch cycle, player counts never fell below 5,000 concurrent players across all platforms. 2 weeks before X Defiant's official shutdown statement went out, X Defiant saw a substantial increase in player counts, with an average of between 9,000 to 17,000 players, and peaked at 21,000 during Thanksgiving, November 27th through December 2nd, Double XP event. At one point, X Defiant had a higher concurrent player count number than Rainbow Six Siege. End of thread. Finally, I want to thank the devs for all the hard work and passion they put into X Defiant and its community. And there you have it. I mean, I know the X Defiant had the sophomore slump of a new IP coming out when Black Ops 6 came out. I mean, of course, Black Ops 6 comes out, the player count's going to fall. I personally never had any issues finding matches. I'm on US East or whatever. I never had any matchmaking issues personally. And I play this game quite a bit, so I would have definitely noticed some. I never had to wait more than like 30 seconds to find a match in Dom, or really any mode I picked. But the point of all this is that X Defiant was gaining players. It was planning to release on Steam. Ubisoft even put it in their email, play X Defiant and earn like Ubisoft Connect credits or something like that, XP, whatever you want to call it. It was a really, really knee-jerk decision, and I think it's one of the biggest mistakes Ubisoft has ever made, because Call of Duty, as I've shown you guys continuously, is letting the fans down. This is not a sprint, it is a marathon. Ubisoft did not even give them a chance to run. And what's really awkward about this whole situation is, yes, this content's coming out. It's going to be pretty awesome from what I'm seeing. It's a ton of content, and I think that a lot of people will come back to the game even though there's no future after this, if that makes sense. Just because this is so much content, I mean, people are going to want to check it out. But what's really sad about all this is that Snowdrop is the engine X Defiant uses. Snowdrop's a notoriously unique engine to work with. I think Tom Clancy's The Division uses it as well. You have to be a specialized dev to work on this engine, essentially. And Ubisoft just flat out fired most of the dev team. I think it's just pretty much a skeleton crew at this point just to keep things running. And if Ubisoft were to reboot this game, or if a buyout happens and another company tries to relaunch X Defiant, it's going to be very difficult to get those devs back if they're in new positions at other studios. Does that make sense? It's a big can of worms, and it's such a fucking botch from Ubisoft. I mean, Guys, I don't know if you know this, but like every new IP that comes out sort of struggles in the same way XDefiant did. I mean, XDefiant has the curse of like having to compete with yearly Call of Duties. So when the new yearly Call of Duty comes out, obviously it's gonna take a lot of the player base away. It's natural. But I recall Rainbow Six Siege, another Ubisoft IP, being on the verge of shutdown as well, and their player counts were really low and whatnot. And then the last season that they had before they were going to get shut down knocked it out of the park. Players came back, and Siege is the giant it is now because of that one moment alone, pretty much. That was the turning point. Dead by Daylight kind of had a similar trajectory where it comes out, it has a lot of hype and whatnot. It kind of dies off, and then the devs just keep working hard. I mean, these games are not successful overnight. Fortnite is the same way. Fortnite came out, lost a lot of hype, eventually turned it around by continuing to work on the game and not giving up. I mean, Ubisoft botched this so fucking hard, it is unreal. Considering that Call of Duty is killing itself right now. Warzone, colossal fucking flop. Black Ops 6 is bleeding players at an astronomical rate, and there's no competition. I mean, you could say Fortnite's competition or whatever. You could say all these other games are competition, but not really. I mean, Call of Duty is huge. They have so many modes counted in their player metrics, and yet they've lost 25% of their player base, in a month that's usually bullish for them. I just don't get what Ubisoft was thinking. I mean, maybe they're that poor behind the scenes. It has to be that. They're just bleeding money. They're hemorrhaging money. This isn't the first time Ubisoft's done something like this, though. They've taken, IPs out before they've even had a chance to really hit the ground and get momentum. So regardless, guys, this is the news. It's a weird video to make, talking about Call of Duty potentially dying and XDefiant potentially coming back from the grave. But it's exciting, at least. I personally will be checking out XDefiant. I have no desire to play like any multiplayer shooter pretty much other than that. I've tried to delve into like, the finals and whatnot, but just the thought of downloading the finals and like dealing with skill-based matchmaking, or the thought of playing Delta Force, for example, and dealing with skill-based matchmaking in those games because they both have it. It's just exhausting. Like, I'm exhausted at this point. I don't want to play some competitive shooter. I want to play, and I want to compete against myself in a multiplayer environment without rigged matchmaking, without matchmaking punishing me for improving, without my ping getting worse the better I do. I'm just tired of it. I'm sick of it. I can get the same exact experience going from Dead by Daylight to Call of Duty to Delta Force to Overwatch. It's all the same fucking shit, and I am bored of it. XDefiant was the one thing that kept my interest because it had organic matchmaking, no skill-based matchmaking. You match with whoever, you match with good players, bad players, everyone in between. Every match was pretty different from the previous one. I mean, guys, I just want games that stop forcing this fucking matchmaking on me. XDefiant was good besides that, but like I enjoyed it besides that, but that really is just the most refreshing part about it. That and the maps, the multiplayer maps are fantastic. The art team is great, by the way. Real artists, not this AI fucking slop that's in Call of Duty. And I guess to close out this video, I mean, I just want to say, first and foremost, thank you to the XDefiant devs for making a game that I bothered to play as long as I did. I had about 300 hours in it before the shutdown happened. And not only that, but thank you for just listening to the players. That was one of the best parts about the game, is the open communication with the player base, the open communication about netcode, the improvements behind the scenes, where they were at with the roadmaps and stuff like that, what they were planning in the future. The communication was fantastic, and it's something we just do not get with the big studios. We don't get it with Call of Duty. I don't think we get it with Fortnite even stuff that's like, doing the right thing like Fortnite. I just don't think we get that level of communication and that level of like ping-ponging ideas with the community back and forth. I mean, I feel like the community at a certain point, the player base at a certain point, would have molded XDefiant along with the devs into something really, really special. And it's just sad that it's not going to continue after this big content drop. It really is. I'm going to play the game until they shut off the servers. And then who knows, man, I might hang up the multiplayer boots altogether. Just not feeling it, you know? Just not feeling it. I might give the finals a try. I might give Shatterline a try. Other than that, though, man, I don't know. I want to close this video out by showing you this bit of AI news, by the way. It's only going to get worse on Call of Duty's end. Microsoft CEO says AI innovation will help in game development for Xbox. I think long-term as a company, we can bring the best of AI innovation, cloud innovation, console innovation, PC innovation to build the best games that can be enjoyed by gamers everywhere. Gamers that have 6 fingers, I'm sure he's referencing there. Anyway, that's going to do it for me. I hope you enjoyed. Rate, comment, and subscribe. Ring the notification bell. I'll catch you on the next one. Have a good one. Peace.